quick question. When was the last time you actually celebrated a small win? Not a big milestone, not something you post about. I meant the small stuff, the little stuff, the stuff that proves you're still moving. Well, that's what we're talking about today in episode 92 of the Books by Josh audio immersion, aka Progress You Don't Always See. So, can you guess what today's episode's about? It's about celebrating the small wins because they actually do matter. The proof of movement. What is movement? Well, movement is moving. You're actually taking steps towards a goal. I want to do this episode, because it's the end of the year and most of us might feel like we haven't accomplished anything. Heck, I do at times. But here's the thing. We gotta remember those small little wins because they matter. What do I mean? Well, I don't know if you know this, but I write also other than talk. And when I write, I'm working on different things, maybe a blog post, maybe a post on the site, or I'm working on my novel because I write books as well, hence the Books by Josh name. But the problem is, I'm working on writing something that's going to be over 50,000 words and polished, things like that, so it's not like something that I'm just free flowing like this. The problem is, 50,000 plus words is a lot. You see the number 50,000, you're like, wow, that's a lot of words. And you think, am I really making a dent in that? Sure, I have a word counter, but the thing is, each word I put down is a small little victory. That's why when I write, I try to finish a chapter or work on getting it halfway so that I can say, hey, you know what? I did this chapter. I don't focus on the words now because the words don't matter. Let the story flow. Capture one chapter at a time. And that's the problem right now is that most of us don't do that. We just focus on the whole thing, the finished product, saying, hey, look, my book is right here done. But the problem is when you focus on the end game and not on the small attainable goals, it messes with your head. I was going to curse there. But think about it. When you do goal setting, they tell you have a goal, set a time frame, things like that. The reason why is because they want it to be able to be chunked. What is chunking? Well, three parts, basically. Let's say you have a pizza. You slice in four. I don't know why I said three parts. You chunk it. Each slice is a little chunk. You want to eat that pie. It's four slices. It's a personal pan pizza. You're going to eat one slice at a time, unless you're a madman and you just eat the whole thing. It's hard to eat a whole pie by folding it. It is doable, but it's a lot harder. So you want to take each individual slice and eat each slice until that pie is gone. So the thing is with this is by focusing on eating the whole pie is actually stealing your momentum because you're just focusing on the whole picture rather than the little pieces that help you reach your goal. What are some of the little pieces? Let's say you want to be a podcaster, right? You're like, oh man, I need to do this. I need to grow an audience. I need to make money on it. Don't focus on making money off it. Focus on just putting out that first episode, getting that script in, putting out the episode, recording it, Work on the easy stuff because guess what? As you work towards it, that big goal you want to make money content creating, you have to put in the work, the little steps. You have to do SEO, you gotta learn keywords, you gotta learn how to write, you gotta learn how to edit videos, you gotta learn how to edit audio, stuff like that. You have to learn the smaller things. You can't just say, I'm gonna be great, I'm going to put up a site and I'm gonna make money off it. No, you gotta say, hey, I made this website. I need to figure out how I'm going to separate myself from my competition. Perfect. After I do that, I need to know how to track metrics. Perfect. After that, I need to know how to advertise, how to get people to find me. So that's the thing. You have to take it step by step. So another small win that deserves a shout out, like I mentioned, sitting down, press record, getting that content out, sitting down, actually writing. But the smallest win is getting out of bed, turning on the computer and making that attempt to write, to create, to go into work and be the best worker you can be. That little attempt is something because there's days, we all know them, that we don't want to be there. That we're sitting there and we hate the world And guess what? Just making that attempt, that shift in your mindset is a small win. They say the secret, the things you focus on will become reality, you manifest it. Doesn't work for me, but guess what? Sometimes thinking positively can actually affect your conversation because you could tell when someone had a bad day because they're taking it out on you or they're talking a certain way. You don't want to be that person, whether professionally, personal. So just by making that small mindset shift is, guess what? A small win. So let's talk about a simple method here. We want to just notice our whole problem, what we're trying to attain, right? That's our goal. We're going to notice it. Guess what? After that, let's break it down piece by piece. Hey, we went to go, Sonny. Yeah, I know. But piece by piece, what are small quadrants? When Apple came back with Steve Jobs, when he came back to the company, he broke it down into 4 quadrants of target audience that they want to have, 4 products. So that's the thing. You want the professional, you want the something for the everyday man, you want the desktop and the laptop. But here's the thing with anything in life for goals, break it down into those quadrants. Figure out what do you need. You want to be a podcaster. You need gear. Okay, that's the first quadrant. Under the gear, what kind of gear you need? Okay, but here's the thing. Right under that, what gear do you have already? You have a phone? Guess what? All these phones with the new microphones, if you could talk on the phone, people hear you fine. Guess what? You can record audio on the phone as well. You don't need an expensive $500 mic, a $300 interface, all this and that. It will be nice, but guess what? That comes later. Right now, you gotta just hit record. If you want to be a content creator on YouTube, you have the phone, like I mentioned. There's free apps to do video editing right there on your phone, on your laptop. So you have to break it down, and guess what? Have trackable goals. You want those small wins, so you want to focus on the now. What can you do now? And then when you do it, guess what? Celebrate. I'm not telling you go buy a bottle or go clubbing. No, just give yourself a little pat on the back. You know, they said give yourself flowers. Flowers are give somebody props while they're alive. That's the whole thing. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a big celebration. Take a step back and say, you know what, I did it. Take a deep breath, you know? Write yourself a little sticky note saying, hey, on this day I did that. It's great things. But they say that Rome wasn't built in a day. The reason why is because it takes time to do anything in life. You want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle. You're not going to gain muscle the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time you're at the gym. It's going to take time. You got to diet, you got to work out, you got to do a lot of things. Real progress is quiet. So that's the thing. You don't see the muscles growing, you don't see the fat burning, but it's happening inside your body. By doing something over and over, it becomes second nature, but you're making small strides to it. That's why they said to master a craft, you need at least 10,000 hours. There's studies and things like that. I'm not going to look it up. But 10,000 hours means 10,000 hours. Remember, there's 60 minutes in an hour. That's 600,000 minutes. And you are giving up after what? An hour? Maybe 2? Because you felt like, hey, this wasn't great. If you look how many episodes I have on this show alone is 92. This is the 92nd episode. Let's say on average, they're 15 minutes long. Let's say I have 100 episodes. That's only 1,500 minutes. That's nowhere near 600,000 hours because there's 60 minutes in an hour. And I messed up that whole thing with my math. But you get what I'm saying. You're not an expert unless you have the time in it. You have to go slowly. Celebrate these small victories because you're going to be upset that you're not seeing the traction. When I first started in sales, I sucked, you know? You're not going to be great. When I first started repairing technology, cell phones, and computers before that, I wasn't the greatest. But guess what? I learned. I had that open mind. And in my free time, I would take phones that were being returned or whatever to the company for because they were broken or whatever, and I will open them and take a look at how to do certain repairs. You have to take it upon yourself to celebrate the small stuff. I remember one of the first phones I worked on was a Sprint LG Rumor. Basic feature phone, aka now a smartphone, had a keyboard that slid, and I opened up everything so I can see how to get access to the keyboard on the front, not the sliding keyboard, but the numeric pad. So I learned things like that and how to put it back together, and that was a small victory for me. And after I said, wow, I learned that. Then the next day I tried on a different phone. It's certain things. But most of us are just celebrating when we hit the huge milestone. Say, hey, look, I did it. I know how to open up all phones. I know how to be the quickest repair. Here. No, you don't celebrate just at the finish line. You're telling yourself that the journey didn't matter. All those tumbles that you did weren't worth it. When you fall down, you get back up, and guess what? That's a victory in itself. This is exciting stuff, but it's the thing. Progress isn't exciting. We have to shift our mentality to say, hey, you know what? I'm progressing. I'm doing something. If you're in the middle of the ocean and you don't see land, you're going to be upset. You're going to just be rowing and rowing and rowing. You're not going to sit there and celebrate and say, hey, you know what? I rowed for 2 hours straight. No, you're going to be like, man, I don't see land. That's not the mentality you have to have. Hey, I'm 2 hours closer to land. You might not be going the direction you wanted, but guess what? You're 2 hours close to some piece of land. But that's the thing. They say and joke about this thing. Hey, you hear all these successful people go, yeah, they call me an overnight success. But I'm not. Like Peter Dinklage will tell you, he has like a talk on it. All of these people that everyone says, no, man, they're overnight success. No, they put in their hours. You just didn't see it. That's the thing. We just look at the finished product like, oh my God, look at them. They're so great. They got on the show and became big. You didn't see what they did to get there. That's why they say walk around someone's shoes so you can learn their story. It's the behind the scenes that matter. You think a movie just gets produced? No. You have countless hours, countless takes to get a scene done. You have all these people behind the scene making sure that the film can be filmed. You have someone working on the sound, someone holding a microphone. If they weren't holding that microphone a certain way, you wouldn't hear that scene the way they intended. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that little shift. Worry about the controllables, the small background stuff that you can do. Hey, you want to do something, you want to start business, instead of sitting down and watching Netflix and just wishing it happens, hey, watch 20 minutes of Netflix and then work on it. Not saying don't give yourself a little bone, but watch that 20 minutes after you work on it as a little thank you, a little reward, the carrot. And this requires discipline, patience, courage, and vulnerability. You have to be ready for some disappointment because you're not going to start something and magically become a success. No. That can happen. You can go viral on a TikTok or whatever, but that doesn't really mean success. I've watched videos of people trying to go viral on TikToks, get 1,000,000 views. They don't even make $1,000. And they lose their job because they're posting at work to go viral. It's a whole thing. They're focusing on that big picture getting viral. Instead of focusing on, hey, let me build a community. Let me do smaller videos here and there. Get my 100, next video 200, Short and sweet. That's it. You got to work on that. Don't worry about going viral. These small victories will stack. It's like the snowball. You push a snowball, it's small and it starts building momentum. But the only way it can build momentum is if it collects snow as it goes down. If there's only snow at the bottom of the hill, that's not going to help. The snowball is going to disappear. because there was no small victories at the top. There was no little patches of snow for it to accumulate. So it's like just our society now, honestly. People don't actually celebrate these small victories, and we're just focusing on, hey, look, that person has a Lamborghini. Oh my God, they can do it. Why can't I? Don't focus on the Lamborghini because you don't know what they did to get there. You don't know any of the stuff that came with that Lamborghini. All the long hours, the rejection, stuff like that. And that's really something that we have to change. And guess what? Speaking of small wins, I want to celebrate a small win from someone I know. They built and launched their own website. It's called reliveincolor.com. It's a creative site that you go in there, you upload a photo, you can change the styles, you can actually turn it black and white to do like a coloring book, you print out the images, and you can also make like an actual puzzle from the image. So it's pretty cool for family memories, pets, nature shots, things on your phone that you wish you can have and give to someone else. You can send them a picture, but a puzzle would be cool. And hear me out. Just to be super clear, not getting paid to mention it. It's just I'm sharing it because it fits today's theme. They built something and they now have to wait. It's a small victory. People aren't going to come unless they give it time and they work on the back end. Like I said, advertise, figure out how to promote that site. And if you want to check out, as I mentioned, reliveincolor.com. RELIVEINCOLOR.com. And I'll also drop the link in the show notes. And I have a challenge for you guys. After this episode, pick one small win from today, say it out loud, write it down, and guess what? It can be something just I showed up. I wrote a page. I made a cold call. I cleaned my space. I did the laundry. It doesn't matter. It can be I took a walk instead of spiraling with this holidays, with this season. Name it, let it count, and don't downplay it, Own it. Because it's these little wins that are going to add up. And that's basically it for this episode. If this episode helped you, do me a favor, share with one person who's been grinding quietly. That's the best way to support the show, honestly. You can also find more of my episodes and my writing at booksbyjosh.com. And if you want to support me in a different way, you can grab me a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/booksbyjosh. No pressure, just appreciation for you making it through this episode, basically almost 20 minutes. And on my site, like I said, you'll find all my info on my other shows. But celebrate your progress, even the quiet kind. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.